Merry meet and good evening, everyone. I'm very excited to be here this evening with Mama Gina. She's hanging out in the green room right now. We just had a nice little conversation. But tonight, we're going to talk more about the song Merry Meet, which I just released, which is only available for download and purchase on my website at alexianmusic.com. Let me go ahead and start playing it in the background while we talk. And without further ado, I want to bring Mama Gina right on. Here she is.
Hey.
Hey, baby.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing excellent. I'm already grooving on those tablas in the background. When I tell you this song is perfection, and the tablas are the glue underneath and the icing on the top. That's a really awful mixed metaphor of glue and icing, but it holds everything together and it's just brilliant. Did you play those tablas? Are those like live tablas? Or are they like a library sound?
It's a library sound.
Okay. But yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Everything came out of these fingers.
I got you. It's inspired. It really is.
Well, I think you said you watched the replay of my broadcast the other day. And for those who have not seen it, I was inspired to write this song from a dream. I do a lot of my songwriting based on dreams. But it's just the way my brain works, I guess. But yeah, I don't know where it came from. It came out of left field. Latin. I've never even studied Latin. I have nothing to do with Latin. So in my dream, they were singing Latin. So I had to write something in Latin.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the best inspiration in the world comes from another world, right?
Exactly. So tell me and tell us, the people watching, about your experience when I put out the call for Spectral and this project.
Oh my gosh. Well, what was it, with 3 or 4 years? It's been a while.
It's been 4 years.
It's been, I mean, you've had this song probably in your head and your heart for quite a while. And when you put out the call, I was like, I love Alexian. I will do anything if he'll have me. And, so I said yes, raised my hand and said yes. And the really cool thing is, at that point, I finally had the gear to be able to record and not just record into my iPhone and stuff like that. And I know that people do that all the time. But I wasn't happy with doing that. So during those early COVID years is when I started building up my little home studio, and I was like, ooh, a project that I get to do for somebody else and try out this stuff and see if they like it too. And then when you sent me the stuff to record, it was so organized. Alexian, this is not how things are done in the pagan community. Don't you know this? We are not organized. We are completely disorganized. We say, just do what you want. But no, you had a vision. You knew precisely what you wanted. You had the alto parts written and the soprano parts written and the tenor. You had everything stacked. You had it laid out, and you made it so easy to do. You explained how to sing the Latin. I was like, whoo, and he comes with instructions too. So it was just.
It did. Well, I mean, I didn't know how to say the words in Latin, so I thought you guys are not going to know how to say the words in Latin, so I had to include all of those instructions, That way everybody's saying it the same.
Having that clarity, working on the project was just brilliant. I can't tell you how much I appreciated it, because you're such a brilliant songwriter, you're a brilliant producer, and to be able, I didn't know what you were going to do with this. I honestly didn't, because we just got our snippets to do, right? It's like doing a radio play. You only get your part of the script. One of the things I did over the COVID years was my brother-in-law was in a radio play, and they would send him his pieces of the script, and he would just speak his lines, and I would record them and send them off to the producer who was weaving everything together. And so we didn't even know sometimes how the story ended or whatever, you know?
That's right.
And this is so cool to hear this. Oh my gosh. It all came together so beautifully. I mean, you had a vision, you had a plan, and I was so tickled to be part of it. And I almost thought maybe you forgot about it or you were going to scuttle it. And I'm so glad that you didn't. I'm so glad that.
No, not after 4 years. I'm not giving up. But I know what you're talking about. I did the movie Passenger 57 here in Orlando back in the early 90s. And and when you do a movie, it's the same thing. Everything's shot out of sequence. So we were whispering, you know, or like, this movie kind of sucks. Like it's like, it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's all out of sequence. How is this all going to work together? And then, of course, the movie came out and it was fabulous, you know, but it's the same thing with anything. They try to group things together based on parts and people and budget and all sorts of things. Yeah. But yeah, I imagine that you guys had the same feeling when I sent you all these individual parts and you didn't know how it was even going to go together, because it was like, sing this clip, then sing this clip, and then sing this clip, and you had no idea what order they came in or anything.
Trust the process, trust the producer, trust the writer. And I did, and I was just, thank you for inviting people to come into this. I think it's so important for us to share our talents with each other. Absolutely. And I learned so much when I work with someone else on their project. I mean, there was so much value in how you had everything organized and presented it to everybody. And, you know, it makes me go back to a song that I did a couple of years ago where I had like 30 people come do a pagan chorus for me, and I was a lot looser about, you know, so sing this, just sing the line, if you want to do some harmonies, give it to me on another track, and I just kind of let them do their thing. But there's so much value in what you've done here that I'm rethinking that whole process if I do it again.
That process can be fruitful too, you know. That's allowing for creativity to come in and spontaneity. I mean, there on my song, what is it? Death's Lullaby. The background vocalist is Ayana, who's a member of my coven. Actually, she's the goddess in the cover of the single. Let me actually bring up the photo. I almost forgot. But anyway, she was in the recording booth recording low vocals, and she said, you know, in the key of man, because it was a very low part for her. Okay. And she has what we always tease her that she has musical Tourette's, and I never stopped recording, and she did some little weird, almost like crazy, weird, spontaneous thing when we weren't even recording, but the recording was still recording. I ended up taking that, reversing it, and it's in the recording.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love those happy accidents, right?
Yeah, happy accidents. You gotta love them. But yes, this is the single cover, and that is Lady Ayana. She's a 3rd degree priestess in my coven. And of course, that's me, and that's my husband, Victor. Are you seeing my pointer?
I am not seeing your pointer, but maybe folks outside.
And being all expressive with my mouse pointer, and you can't see it. But the two people in the middle are our younger members of our coven, Leonora and Akela. They are all posing in the photo in the backyard of my home. And my photographer, I have to mention him, Jason Clark from a Hyena Head Photography, is brilliant. And the photo came out great. Okay,
it really did. It's gorgeous.
And so I've shown this on other streams. So back to Mama Gina. So I was going to ask you something else. We were talking earlier before we went live about sharing information between pagan musicians and supporting each other. Yeah. Like you did. And I have to mention again that when I put the call out, you were on it. Like you were just there. I was like, whoa, thank you, Mama Gina.
Alexian, it's just kismet. I just happened to be home. Well, I think we were all home during that time.
Yeah.
But I also was finally in a position where I felt like I could record something that would be valuable, that would sound, that would have some quality to it, to send to you.
Well, I have to mention, most of the people that recorded used
Did their
their
iPhones?
phones.
Yeah.
They used
Yeah.
their phones. So, yeah. Oh, I should mention, if you are interested in being part of one of my future projects, join Spectral. It's my volunteer group where you can sing on my recordings, like Mama Gina just did. And also, I will be making a music video for this song along with other songs. And I already have the vision. The video is in my head. I just have to find the time and the money to produce it. But I also have Spectral members dance on video for the music video. So if you'd like to be in the music video just dancing, join Spectral. It's free and it's a lot of fun.
It really is. And you're working with a master. I mean, Alexian, I remember the first time we met at that Summer Solstice Festival.
The melting gathering.
Yeah, I had seen you previously perform and really appreciated your work, but that was the first time that we met and got to hang out for a little bit. And I was like, I think this dude knows what he's doing. And then, of course, I got to see you perform, and I was like, oh, yeah, you totally know.
Well, I really enjoyed meeting you at the Lake Okeechobee gathering. Yes, it was so hot, and we were waiting to perform, and we were melting, but we got to know each other really fast and furious at that gathering, and I just fell in love with you. Oh. And it was funny because, there was a lot of young people there, and they're seeing this old dude, with a gray beard go up on stage at a piano, and I'm sure they were thinking I was going to play something simple and have a scratchy voice, and I hit play and dance music comes out, and all of them are like, what
what was that?
It was funny to see their reaction.
Oh no, it's always a good time. And I think you're right that it's so wonderful to be in a community where we actually do share our work, we share resources, we share ideas, we share venues with each other. I did regular pop music in bands up until I was in my mid-40s, and traveled for a lot of that. And it was cutthroat, even at the hotel band level. Wow. I mean, nobody wanted to share, nobody wanted to share gig information with anybody. Nobody wanted to talk about what worked for a band and what didn't work for a band. Nobody wanted to do any of that. And when I stepped into, when I made the decision to become a pagan artist, a pagan musician, and really sing my heart and do all originals and walk away from all of that other stuff, I kind of expected the same thing, but it didn't happen. What I found were people who hugged you when you got to an event, even if they'd never met you before, and would say, hey, do you want to split concert times a little bit so that we get to both play both nights? Or have you talked to this person because they have a really nice home in this? Sometimes they do house concerts, and you should think about that. And and working with other musicians and being invited to sing backup or to just whatever. It's been the best 12 years of my life here so far of being in this community where we share information and we love on each other and we support each other, and with very few exceptions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a couple out there, but we're not going to talk about them tonight. Oh. But with very few exceptions, this is an amazing community. We build each other up. And this is what your song is doing. Your song, Mary Mead. I mean, you're bringing everybody into the circle, It just feels good. It's uplifting, and the voices are amazing on it. I mean, I'm just jazzed to be part of it.
Yeah. You're a blessing, Mama Gina. You are a blessing. I love you to death. I'm so thankful for your input in the project. And I don't know if you saw, but we got some comments that were both amazing. I'll take that.
Yeah.
We love you too, Melody, by the way. And is there anything else you want to add? I want to keep you here all night.
I just want to say thank you. It was a great experience, and I hope that we get a chance to do this a little bit more often.
Absolutely. We both actually were on the Red album.
Yes, we were.
Bring that up. If you haven't heard or got your copy of the Red album yet, it is available for sale on my website, paganmusic.com. That's paganmusic.com. And I'll actually autograph it for you. I think a lot of people are buying the album from an artist and then going around and getting everybody's signature. You know?
It's the great scavenger hunt.
Yeah, that's fun. Isn't that fun?
It is.
But that was an important project, and I was so honored to be asked to be a part of it. And Elaine Brown, I love you. You are amazing. Isn't she so organized?
She herds pagan musicians better than anybody I've ever met in my life. She is absolutely, truly, her heart was all focused on the project and still is. And, talk about collaborating with other musicians. I mean, getting that many of us, 19 groups, acts, together, that's a lot. That's a lot to organize. And by the way, for those who haven't heard this, but I'm sure they have, because Alexian, I know you say this all the time too, about that Red album, that money goes to two incredible organizations. None of the musicians are making a dime off of that. We covered the expenses for our own recordings, and none of that money is going to us. That is truly not just a protest album. It is to raise money for people who need to get the care that they need to get when they need to get it, where they need to get it. And so definitely check out the Red album on Alexian's site, and you'll find all the information.
100% goes to charity after expenses, like you said, to produce the album. But anyway, it was so lovely having you on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening and coming joining me here.
It was my pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you.
And if there's anything I can ever do for you, I'll be there.
Likewise.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody. Love you guys. Blessed be. Bye-bye.
Blessed be.